Hello everyone, this is Ryan O'Connell from Scribe Software. I just want to welcome everybody. We are going to get started here shortly in another minute or so. We're going to give it those few more minutes because we're seeing more people pop in to the webinar. So we'll be giving it another minute or so and we'll come back on to get started. Thank you. So just a reminder, we're going to get started here in a minute, but while we wait, could someone on the call send a chat letting me know that you can hear us okay on this end? Excellent, thank you. Okay, thank you everybody again for joining the Scribe MVP program call here at this webinar, and we are going to get started. I appreciate everyone taking the time to join, and just a quick intro here. My name is Ryan O'Connell. I am the Senior Solutions Engineer here at Scribe, and with me is Lou Antonucci, Vice President of Sales, as well as Todd Bailey, Product Management Director. So we are going to take you through this webinar and share with you the changes that we have, the things that we're proud of here with regards to the program that we're changing, and really the driving force behind the idea of revamping our Scribe program is to make it better for the MVPs. So these changes are really driven from the partners and customers out there that have provided feedback on the program to let us know really what they're interested in and how we can help them and how we can improve the program overall. So the key is for us to be able to make this beneficial for both you as the MVP as well as for us here at Scribe. And so with the agenda, real quick, I can just highlight here that we are going to review the new Scribe MVP program. We'll go through those details here. And then we're going to give you a demo of the Granite release of Scribe Online, which we're very excited about. And then we're going to touch on some announcements and give you some information with regards to some upcoming events and some other notables. And we will definitely have enough time at the end to be able to do some Q&A to answer your questions that come out of the call. So with that said, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Lou.
Great, thanks Ryan, and yeah, once again, thanks for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us for this call. You know, I certainly want to say as we come out of 2016 with an extremely successful year for Scribe, and as we're exiting Q1 with pretty much a record-breaking quarter for Scribe, we can't do that without the group of people we know as our Scribe MVPs. So I certainly want to thank you all. We talked with our European MVPs this morning, and it's really without this group, we wouldn't have the success that we have. So we really appreciate it. And to that end, what we're really looking to do, starting off April 1 here, is to introduce a new, improved, updated MVP program, more of a formal program than it has been in the past. And with any program, there will be requirements to become a Scribe MVP. I know as I've gone through some of the ranks here and asked the question of some of the internal people, what does it take to be an MVP? If I ask 7 different people, I get 7 different answers. So what we're really trying to do is formalize this program and really add much more benefit to the MVPs, as well as hopefully getting a lot more valuable input from you, our feet on the street in the field, if you will. So I'm going to go through the requirements here for the program. Please keep in mind that everybody on this call that's an MVP, that you are grandfathered into this program. The only real requirement that we're looking for our current MVPs to take part in as part of this program is that if you haven't already, we would really like to see you get level 1 and level 2 certified on Scribe Online. I think we all have noticed in the marketplace it's all about the cloud. With Microsoft, it's all about the cloud. With our customers and prospects, it's all about how do we transition to the cloud. And obviously, we've been doing that with our Scribe Online platform. So while this program still encompasses everything we do around Insight, it's very much focused moving forward on Scribe Online. But existing MVPs are grandfathered in, and all we're looking for, if you haven't become certified on the online platform, that we ask you to do that. Now, an aside, just to that end, we'll talk later about our upcoming MVP Summit, which we'll be holding. It's an in-person summit in Chicago. We're bundling with that a level 2 certification for Scribe Online at no charge, because typically there would be a charge for that class, as well as any MVP that is interested in getting level 1 and level 2 certified, doing that for over the next 6 months, whether you do it at our session in Chicago, and obviously you need to be level 1 certified before becoming level 2, and you can do that online. We're giving you the next 6 months to do it at no charge. So for our MVPs, the level 1 training and certification, level 2 training and certification, no charge. Would love to have you join us for the 2 days in Chicago to take care of that level 2 training if you care to. So that's, again, I just want to make sure we're very clear about no other requirements for existing MVPs to be grandfathered into the program. Now, for new consultants, you may have other certified consultants at your organization that would be interested in becoming an MVP, or other customers even that use Scribe quite a bit and want to become an MVP. These are the requirements. Typically what we'll do is kind of an acceptance review. That's really set up as an initial phone call with one of our either one of our technical specialists or one of our product people to just kind of review the background of that person, their understanding of Scribe, and it's really just kind of an initial interview, if you will, into the program. Also, certainly the requirement is there that if someone new wants to join the program, they will already have to have been certified on level 1 and level 2 Scribe Online training, and would participate in, as part of the program, participate in 2 MVP Summit events per year. That's one of the requirements to maintain your certification in the program, as well as implementing a minimum of 2 Scribe Online projects. We feel going forward, it's all about the cloud, it's all about innovation, and I think when Todd goes through the new Granite release, which is coming out here in a few weeks, okay, you will really see some new things that have been added to the platform, those that have seen it already, and that's where our continuing innovation is going to take place. So obviously, for someone who wants to join as an MVP, we now look to that. Have you implemented 2 successful Scribe Online deployments? And then we will be doing an MVP online community group, and we would request participation of MVPs in that group. Now, to remain active, once a person has been accepted in the program, is really the annual Scribe Online recertification. As you know, this past year, last year, we started doing recertifications in the field, and those are typically just you talk to your partner account manager. They set you up with, kind of a research test, maybe a little guide on new features and functions. And again, those will be built all around the new innovation in Scribe Online. That, along with attending at least 2 MVP Summit events a year. We're going to invest a lot of time and effort in this program, and one of the things we expect from our MVPs to at least, whether it's you attend the in-person summit and 1 other virtual summit, or if you attend 2 virtual summits, that's fine, but we really want you engaged and providing us that feedback. And when we do our summits, we'll talk about our summit coming up here in Chicago in May, but then we'll also, in Q3 and Q4, have virtual summits as well. And those will just be 2-hour sessions where we'll look for feedback and input and update you on our latest products and roadmaps. So those are the requirements. We talk a little bit about what do we expect from our MVPs. Obviously, working closely with Scribe, the input, all of that, that provides value on both sides. But the things where we would like to get some value, and we have been, it's not that we haven't been already, but we list a few things here like blogs. Doing a blog on pertinent integration topics, or doing white papers that might be more thought leadership or specifically focused on various best practices. Presentations for our user, for example, at our user groups, both here and in EMEA, we had a number of MVPs that actually managed the sessions and ran the presentations. But those, as well as presentations at our vendor partners like Microsoft or other Scribe or partner events in the field. We're even going to look at, are you doing Twitter and Facebook posts that promote Scribe? And we'll talk a little bit in a minute here about a new point system that we're instituting, where you can actually benefit both professionally and personally from the point system for doing these types of things, as well as case studies, success stories, and so on. And a number of you have been really good about getting involved with a number of these types of activities. We'd love to see more of it, and hopefully as we grow this program, we will. I do want to mention, I'm not sure if Ryan mentioned it initially, we do have time set aside at the end for Q&A. So we'll take all questions at the end, and there is a Q&A button that you can use to type in your questions that you might have, whether it's on the program itself or on the demo that you're going to see from Todd. So I mentioned the point system. And what we're going to do with the point system is this. As you can see in this chart, there's a number of different activities where you actually gain points. Now, some of these are actually requirements of the program, but the majority of them are the extra things that you can do to help build your position throughout the Scribe consultant ecosystem, as well as add value to the Scribe message. So I'm not going to read through all of these. I think you can see that, attendance at MVP Summit, right? Thought leadership or best practices white papers, right? And so on. Presentations at user groups, blogs. And these could either be on Scribe Insight or Scribe Online, okay? And there's a different value to the different things we have up here. There's some social media things like, Facebook or Twitter posts. We will send out a document within a week following this presentation about our point system and how we will track those and what you might need to do when you're doing these different types of activities, so that we'll be sure to be able to track them properly. Now, one of the real values of this point system is that when you attain 12 points, you become what we will call now our black belt MVPs for Scribe, the best of the best. That means you're really engaged. You're adding a lot of value to the Scribe ecosystem as a result of doing these things for points. Once you attain a black belt status, I had a question earlier, well, how would I lose my black belt status? Well, if you attain 12 points in a year and you become let's say by the end of 2017, and we now list you, we promote you as a black belt. If we have prospects or other partner implementations where they need help and they're looking for consultants, and there's not a consultant or partner assigned to a prospect, we'll look to our black belt MVPs as the go-to people to bring business to, and we'll promote them on our website. But once you become a black belt, then it works pretty much like our margin system does for our partners. You attain a certain level, and then you enter the following year at that level. So if you get 12 points, you've become a black belt MVP, then you will be a black belt MVP through 2018. However, if you don't attain at least 12 points during 2018, then you would lose that status going into 2019. Pretty simple program, okay? And that's how we'll work it. So look for more follow-up information on these type of activities, how our point system will work, how we'll track it, and so on. Now, the other thing we thought, well, it would really be nice. We love it when people, wear Scribe apparel, or they've got Scribe swag on their desk, and we say, well, we could also use this point system as a way for you to earn some nice gifts from the company. And so to do that, it wasn't like, well, okay, for 2 points you get a Scribe pen, and for 5 points you get a Scribe cup holder. We're really looking to up-level the type of gifts that we would offer. So 12 points, a really nice Scribe MVP golf shirt, and because it's 12 points, we may actually make that a Scribe MVP black belt golf shirt. We did a great promotion with one of our vendors recently where we provided Scribe Bluetooth headphones, very high-end headphones, to our partner technical consultants, one of our ISV vendors, and they went over very well. So that's another product, a Scribe branded product that we would offer for 24 points. And then if you were to earn 48 points, and these don't all have to be in a year, right? These could be as you're progressing, through the program, through time. If you earn 12 points, you can turn that in for a shirt, right? For 48 points, we'll be providing really nice leather bomber jackets. If you're familiar with bomber jackets, they're very, very sharp, short leather jacket, and they'll most likely be engraved with Scribe MVP on them. So that's just some nice swag that you can earn as part of the program as well. So, when we looked at this, we said, well, we wanted to make sure that it's very clear of the value that we understand the value that you get out of this program, so that we can better serve you and also have you provide us with certainly the feedback and input that we're looking for. So obviously, the fact that you have access to our detailed roadmap, our direction, our vision, our early access programs that we do, it's a great benefit to you, obviously, out in the field, but it's even a bigger benefit to us because your opportunity to provide us that input and feedback. And really, if you look at, a lot of things that are even in this rev of our Scribe Online platform, that input really has come from our previous meetings with MVPs. So we appreciate that and want that to continue. We're obviously going to promote you on our website. We will have a little higher level promotion of our black belt MVPs. The opportunity to network with other MVPs and our Scribe teams at the summits is certainly a huge advantage for you. And when we do our in-person summit here coming up we'll talk about it in a minute, when we do that summit, we'll have our folks from our product teams, our sales team, our technical team, as well as Sean McGowan, our CEO, will be there. So a great opportunity, if you haven't already met Sean, to meet Sean. But he's coming there with a very focused purpose, and that is to really lay out to you a number of the ancillary types of applications and widgets, whatever you want to call it, applets, things that you can do that add more value around the Scribe Online platform, and that platform gives you the capability to do that. So he's going to have a very, very interesting technical presentation for you around those types of things. I mentioned the black belts. Also, your opportunity to present case studies and training and presentations at our user groups on behalf of Scribe certainly helps to raise your status among the Scribe ecosystem and your partner organization status. So we're really looking at not only the value to Scribe, but the value to the folks that make this all work for us, and that's our consultants as a whole, but very specifically our MVPs. The other value that you bring to your organization is the fact at the beginning of this year, we did a few tweaks to our partner program, and one of the requirements now for a partner to be considered a Scribe Elite partner is that they have to have at least one MVP on staff. So that, again, is more value that you actually can bring to your organization. So with that, that pretty much covers the program. There is this program guide, which we will be sending out to everybody. It'll also be available on the website as well. We'll get that put up shortly, probably in our partner kit or maybe accessible through the MVP community. We'll see how that all works out. So again, there's your view of the program, and what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn it over to Todd Bailey. He's going to give you a quick view of the Scribe Online platform, but more specifically, what's coming up in the upcoming Granite release of Scribe Online. Todd.
Thanks, Lou. Great to talk to the MVPs. Many of you I've talked to before, and looking forward to seeing you at the upcoming meetings that Lou was talking about. It really is important to get your feedback and to hear what you guys are seeing and hearing in the field. You guys are, ears to the ground as far as we're concerned. So, talk a little bit about Granite, and then I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of what we got in store for you. Really what Granite was adding the usability features that happen to be in our Silverlight version, our Classic, and putting those into the new responsive design that we released with Crystal. So this was the main purpose of this, but also on top of that is putting the hierarchical data support, which is a feature that we've been planning on the platform for quite some time. So some of the underpinnings of that are in Granite. What happens, when we do release this is, you won't need to use Silverlight. Quite simply, we have, managed to fill in those feature gaps that were preventing you to take full advantage of the new experience. The timing on this slide just changed literally today. We were planning to do the deploy this Friday. As with any software, we found some things that we weren't comfortable with, so we've actually moved that date out until April 21st. So there's a notice on our community on that. We're committed to one of our values is successful outcomes and a number of other things, but we want to make sure that you're successful. So anything that jeopardizes that, we're going to make the right decision there. So look forward to this on April 21st. Secondly, lastly on this, why the name? And really the name is kind of indicative of what we see as far as, what this means. Granite is one of those foundation stones that, houses are built on. It's strong. It's the things that there we go. There's the slide. It's the thing that you can use, for making something last. And we thought it was a good name. It embodies the spirit of the release. So without further ado, I'm going to jump directly into Granite and give you a little bit of a show and tell. And as Brian had mentioned, and I think Lou had mentioned as well, we'll have some time after this to go through some questions specifically. And most of you already have my email address, so feel free to email me directly. Love to have your feedback and get your impressions. So just getting this straightened out here. Bear with us for a second. There we go. So here's the dashboard. Not much has changed as far as this goes. I'm going to come back here. First, I wanted to start off where you can actually go to see all of the organizations that you have access to. So this screen has changed to give you an overall dashboard of all of the organizations that you're invited to, and that way you know who you need to, maybe pay specific attention to at this moment. It's your home base of looking at what's going on. So from here, I could see Acme Enterprises, job is disabled. Probably not a big deal. I probably have the solution incomplete for a reason. AG demo, system failure, probably something a little bit more serious. So we're using the same color coding and the icons that we use throughout the rest of the Crystal experience. So this shows that the agent is shut down. We've got the same sort of dashboard that is available for parent organizations. So if I go down to the P-Chase software parent org, I would see all of my children that I have access to. And again, I've got the color-coded, status indicators that will tell me what's going on with them. So this is one of the big improvements that we made, focusing a little bit more on enterprise, where you're dealing with multiple customers, and giving you some of the tools to better manage that situation. I'm going to move back up to my demo organization here. We're going to jump directly into my solution here. First thing you'll notice is that we've got a new column here that allows you to do bulk operations on maps. So here I can select multiple maps, and under the main menu I've got options to export selected, lock unlock selected, enable disable selected, or delete selected. So one of the things that people were asking for from the Crystal release was the ability to export single maps or export selected maps. This gives you that ability. The other thing that you can do is if you just need a single map, you could just simply go to the gear menu on the map itself and just hit export, and it's going to create that file. So if you're just trying to get a map over to another organization or to another partner, that's an easy way of doing it. We've also added the duplicate. So this will create a copy of that map. So instantly created a copy down here. It marks it as disabled so it doesn't accidentally run. You can go ahead and enable this map and it would run. It's just a duplicate of the original map. Going a little bit further down the screen to execution history. Here we've added some functionality with export errors. This creates the CSV that provides you, that you can open up in Excel, provides you a copy of all of the errors. Probably my favorite is the view statistics. This gives you by map how long each map took to run, the number of records failed, and of course the duration. This is the same functionality that we had available within our classic interface. So we brought this forward. If you were to look at replication, if you're using a replication solution, it would give you by entity. The bonus here that you get with Granite is this detailed section. This allows you to look at your solution and identify any bottlenecks on processing. We're going to further add to this functionality to give you by map, but right now within Scribe Online, it's hard to identify where is the map taking the most amount of time in processing. This at least gives you an idea of where to focus your effort on. So in this example, the create operation is taking the longest. This is all in milliseconds. So if I'm looking to tune this map or to optimize it, that would be one area in which I could look at. Maybe it's a matter of disabling an index, adding an index, etc. So we'll be adding more to this functionality, but it gives you an idea of where we're trying to head with the product. So if I go directly into the view errors, I'm also able to export all errors. We've added functionality here, a direct link to our Salesforce community. So you see the blue link here, and this actually will bring up a search on our Salesforce community that we launched last fall and give you the context-sensitive articles or discussions regarding the error messages. So instead of trying to copy this error, cut and paste into Salesforce community, you could simply click this and actually get the answer to your question. So trying to do that, more of that direct linking of our Salesforce community, so it's one real platform that is communicating together. So that's pretty much it on execution history. Like any other software products, like with Crystal, we're never going to be done. There's going to be more that we want to add here, that you can expect in the future releases. I'm going to go now into some of the features around maps, because I think those are near and dear to some of you on the call. Probably the most sought after feature, I think, from the surveys and in talking to customers, was the ability to cut, copy, and paste. So on the gear menu with the blocks, you can see now that we've got the copy and the cut commands available. So I can simply make a copy, and then I can click over here and make a paste, and I can actually get a copy of this. You can actually do multiple selects too. It's something that we explained in our help. By just using the Shift button on your keyboard, you can select a series of blocks and copy those, etc. I'm going to cancel out of this map because I don't want to make the change. And I'm going to go into everything besides Italy. And if I go into everything besides Italy, I can paste in that block. So I'm able to reuse these and insert them into this section here. And this allows me to reuse that logic. The other thing that we've added here is the ability to reassign a connection. So let's just say I didn't want this create to actually use SQL Server. I wanted it to use marketing leads. I could reassign this connection, and it will change this. I could do vice versa. I could do it at the block level. So I could add back in my SQL Server. I could go back to this create block, and I could, once I save the map, I could reassign that block over to SQL Server. So a lot of functionality there with the blocks, same as what we had with the classic version. I think in some ways we've gone beyond. Let's talk about the rename functionality. This is near and dear to those that deal with a lot of long formulas and a lot of complicated maps. So on this block, because I copied it in, I've actually got the name, which is marketing leads, lookup 2 here. If I wanted to shorten this, we could actually just change this to lookup 2. And this will do a cascade rename within the formulas underneath. So this is taking care of all of that process, so I can clean up all of my maps. So just another usability feature there. Lastly on this, if I wanted to actually change that lookup to actually do something a little bit different, so we can change the block type, we've added this functionality so I can change the lookup to be a create, a delete, an upsert, etc. So again, cut, copy, paste, it all goes hand in hand in being able to reuse these blocks in between solutions, in between organizations, etc. So pretty cool features. There's a lot of work actually to get this in since the Crystal release, and we're pretty proud about what this is going to do for you. I'm going to cancel out of this. One of the things I didn't cover on the dashboard, and then I'm going to hand it back over to Lou and Ryan. Throughout the product, we've added these new usability. For example, we've got a filter on the solution. So, these are kind of the subtle things that we've started to polish throughout the application. Again, we're never going to be done. We're going to continue to add this in, and that's why your involvement in the MVP program is important to us. You actually do help to decide, where we go in the future. So I think that's, the quick tour of this. Look forward to getting you guys into Granite on April 21st.
Excellent. Well, thanks, Todd. I appreciate it. And again, this is a release that we are very excited about and can't wait for it to come out. So we are going to move back to the presentation. And I am going to get that. All right, so let me get to announcements. There we go. I had to get caught up on my slides. Great. So just to give you some announcements and some updates regarding what we had mentioned earlier in the call about our in-person summits. This is our EMEA London Summit. I know most of you, if not all of you on the call, are here for the U.S., but I know we do have a few that are in from EMEA. So I just want to provide this update, which is it's going to be May 10th. and immediately after the summit, there is going to be an MVP dinner.
So if anybody's traveling in London in the early May and they'd like to attend that one, you're welcome for sure.
Yes, no one will be offended if you decide to go to London for that summit. But just one note there is that the EMEA summit will not have any level 2 training, but that's okay that we have other dates for that. Now, our Chicago summit. Now, we had sent out as part of our original communication was looking to see what the most requested dates were for the summit. And it turned out that May 22nd through the 23rd was the most requested. So that really kind of came out of that sort of email survey we did. So those are the dates for the summit. And again, the Scribe Online Level 2 training will be starting that Monday, the 22nd, and going through Tuesday, the 23rd, to noontime. And then immediately after that, we will be starting the full MVP summit on that Tuesday, the 23rd, starting at 1 p.m., and it will be going through to 6 p.m. And then for those of you who will be staying for the dinner, it will be right after that, and we encourage everyone to stay for that as well. But the specific location as far as what hotel in Chicago and those specific details, we are right on the verge of having all that cemented, so we'll have that out to everybody as soon as we have that information. Just to move on to some more announcements here. So again, we did mention virtual summits. Now we are sort of already into 2017, but we do want to take advantage of Q3 and Q4 to have our virtual summits. So the Q3 virtual summit date will be September 20th. And we will send out proper registration and time for that so you can get that into your calendars as soon as possible. And the other for Q4 will be December 6th. So again, in short order, we'll be sending out those details and registrations for that so you can have that in your calendars as well. In addition to sending out that information, as Lou talked about as part of the new MVP program, which we think is a crucial part of the program, which is the Scribe community, which we'll send out more information on that. But this is going to be an invitation that we're going to email out to you. And it's basically your way to kind of get into the Scribe community, which is dedicated just to MVPs, which will help facilitate that question and answer, community outreach. And this is how we're going to use that. So you'll be looking for that very soon. And lastly, we are going to be sending out a Scribe MVP survey, which we'll be emailing out to you shortly as well. And the idea is that we want to get your feedback. So we covered quite a bit with regards to the program and some of the changes we're making. And we think they're positive changes and we're excited about them. So we're really asking for you to go through that survey and provide your feedback and really give us some idea as to where you are with some of these changes, as well as some detailed questions about the summit and what your attendance will be. So, with that said, here we are. Thank you very much for your time. And now what we want to do is go through some Q&A and see what questions we have out there. And we're going to use that for the remainder of the time we have. And I'm just taking a look here to see what we have for questions.
While Ryan is looking and queuing up some questions there, again, you can use that Q&A window pane to type in any questions you might have. I just wanted to once again, thank everybody for your continued support of our products and services, and again, being the front lines for Scribe out there with prospects and customers. We'll follow up, as Ryan said, with information, detailing our point system. We'll also follow up with an invitation to the summit in Chicago, and I believe we're going to end up having it at the same location we did last year. We're trying to finalize some things with I believe was at the Hyatt downtown. We're looking to finalize some things today, hopefully, but we'll be announcing that shortly, and you'll get an invitation for that. But as I mentioned, we'll have our product teams there. We'll have sales and technical pre-sales people there. We'll also have our CEO. So, a great networking opportunity. And again, you don't have to come for both the training and the summit. You could just come for the one day for the summit. But if you want to take advantage of the fact that we're doing that advanced training there, please do. So, great. Ryan, have we got any questions?
We do. They are rolling in. So the first question is, what is the difference between certified and elite partner status?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. But the difference between certified and elite partner. To be a certified partner, you have to have at least one certified consultant on staff. To be an elite partner, you have to have at least 2 certified consultants on staff, with one of those consultants being an MVP. You also, in the past, would have been required to go, the sales team at the partner would have been required to go through sales training, but we eliminated that as a requirement, primarily because we do most of our work through the consultants at the partners, but we do still have that sales training for the sales team and the consultants, if they wish, as part of the onboarding process or ongoing up-leveling process with our partners. So at the end of the day, the real difference is that you have at least 2 consultants on staff that are certified Scribe, and at least one of those has to be an MVP.
Great. Thanks, Lou. So we've got another question here. What is the process to get certified on Scribe Online Level 1 or Level 2 now? I am familiar with the Scribe Insight certifications. Are the Scribe Online certifications done in the same place? I can start with that. So basically the Scribe Online, and we can send out more information. We don't have to get into all the details here, but Scribe Online Level 1 training can be done online. Level 2 training is an in-person required training at this point. So the summit would be the perfect opportunity to take advantage of that. But we will be scheduling some other dates here at the office in New Hampshire. So some of that will be in the works, and we'll have that out as soon as those dates are cemented.
Yeah, and just to add to that, so if for example, you're not Level 1 certified right now, and you're thinking about taking advantage of the Level 2 during the MVP Summit, then you want to get the Level 1 cert now. You can easily get access to that by contacting either your partner account manager or your sales account rep, or you can even send an email to sales@scribesoft.com, and you let them know that you're an MVP and you're requesting the Scribe Online training and certification. Typically, there's a charge for the certification, but they'll put that all through at a $0 item, and then you'll get an email which gives you the details on how to access it and all of that.
Great. So the next question is, so no points for Insight projects moving forward, only online?
Yes, in the point system, yes. I mean, we still want partners doing Insight projects. Can you go back to the slide on the point system, though? I don't know if that's one where there are some things there listed that could be Scribe or Insight. Our focus really on the program going forward is really to get our partners. Let's see if we had changed that. Which one says? Oh, each successful invitation of Scribe. Yeah. Our goal really is to get our partner consultants, and certainly our best of the best, who we consider our MVPs, to focus on the innovation and the value that Scribe Online brings to both them and their customers. I think once you get a chance to dig into the Granite release and you see the new upcoming releases of Scribe Online, at the end of the day, there's very little that you can't do with Scribe Online that you've done with Insight in the past. There's different ways of doing it, but there's much more value to the platform. And so our goal was really, so that's why we reward with extra points for doing Scribe Online implementations as part of the point system. But other things in that point system certainly will go, if you're doing presentations and it's, if it's to a user group where the users are all Insight and you're doing something about best practice, obviously you get points for that type of thing.
Excellent. So next question, is there a cost for the summit in-person events? The answer is no. Really what we're looking for is you to make your flight arrangements. That's certainly going to be something.
And then typically what we do is we get some type of group rate at the hotel, which we announce when we send out the invitation. But there's no cost to attend. There's no cost for the training. No cost for the meals. We want you to be there, and we want to treat you well while you're there.
Excellent. All right, so let's move to the next one. What is the cost for the summit? We just touched on that. How strict is the 2 online implementations per year? So I think that. So so the question is how strict is the 2 online implementations per year? Understanding that you have more Insight projects. Majority of your clients are implementing Insight. And you may not have the control over which platform you're able to sell. So how strict is the 2 online implementations per year?
Well, again, that's for existing MVPs. The 2 online implementations is merely a way you can, actually, I don't want to confuse the point system with the requirements of the program. For the existing MVPs on this call, if you're an existing MVP, okay, there's no requirement to do two implementations a year. There is a requirement if someone comes to me and says, would like to join the MVP program, because obviously the future is cloud. The future is Scribe Online. Not that Insight is not a valuable and viable platform, but that's really where we want to focus the innovation, and we want our top people in the field working with that innovation. So someone new coming in, they should have already done 2 Scribe Online implementations. Existing MVPs, there's no minimum requirement to do 2. Now, you can get 2 points by doing a Scribe Online implementation and add to your point total. There's no requirement to do that on an annual basis.
One follow-up question for Milu while you're saying that. So let's fast forward a year, and we're in 2018. At that, how does the program change, and how does that work with the cutoff? When does they're grandfathered now? When do they have to actually?
Well, the way we've set it up is we've grandfathered all existing MVPs into the program.
Yep. They're
part of the program. And as long as I mentioned earlier, that they get certified on Scribe Online, and the only requirements they have going forward to maintain their MVP status is that they recertify on an annual basis and that they attend 2 of the summits.
That's easy.
I mean, we understand that there are partners out there that, the majority of their customers, for whatever reason, fall into Scribe Insight. Yeah. But I think really once, and it was interesting, I ran a report the other day and I was rather surprised that quite a number of our MVPs, both in the US and in Europe, had not yet been certified on Scribe Online. I think once you get a chance to log into this platform and dig into it and take a look at it, and I would suggest everybody on the phone, if you haven't done that yet, please do. And if you could do the online certification, take the short period of time it is to do that before the summit in Chicago, because we'd love to get your feedback on what you think of it. Again, it's not a redo of Scribe Insight. We didn't take Scribe Insight and throw it up on the cloud somewhere. No. This is built from the ground up as an innovative, partner-focused platform to manage the integration life cycle of their customers. And I think really once you get into it, you're going to see where, regardless of your customer base today, even if they are, because we have a lot of customers that are on Insight today that are moving to Scribe Online because they have directives to go to the cloud, and they want everything to be in the cloud. So I think once you get a look at it, you'll see the value that you can bring. So again, we don't require for this group of existing MVPs that you have to do 2 online implementations a year.
Great, thank you. So the next question, are opportunities passed to black belts for implementations or connector creation, i.e. the SDK? So we did touch on that earlier on as a benefit of being a black belt, that if there is not already an assigned consultant or managed partner, that there would be an opportunity to pass those along to those in the black belt community first.
Yeah, and I'll just add to that. We just recently, in our across our executive team, approved a program that we're calling our Premier Connector Development Program, where we'll actually look for partners and even consultants to actually create connectors for Scribe Online that can be certified on Scribe Online and actually be put up on our marketplace. So if you're really looking for, if your organization may be looking to possibly create connectors for a specific application or a market, we'd love to hear from you, because this new program we're rolling out may be something that you'd be interested in.
Great. What time does the summit start? On Monday? The detail will come out in the registration, but I would suspect that we're going to try and get started as early as possible, because the summit starting on Monday is that level 2 training, and we want to make sure that we have enough time to get that training done, to make sure that everybody there can get all that training under their belt, so to speak. So more detail will come out, but I wouldn't be surprised if we're doing an 8 a.m. start there.
Yeah, 8 or 8:30 probably.
Yep.
And it might be a little bit longer day on Monday, because that's the certification training.
Yep.
On Tuesday, certification training runs, through noon, and obviously if it runs over a little bit, then we're going into lunch, and probably some will be eating lunch while they're finishing up the training. We start the MVP session at 1, and we'll go to about 6, and then we'll adjourn for dinner after that as well. So yeah, like Ryan said, 8:30 you can probably figure for the start on Monday morning.
Where will we see how many points? So the question is where will we be able to kind of see what kind of points we've accumulated with regards to the implementations and so forth? That is going to be information we'll pass along to you in short order, as we're putting together some more information that we're going to get out to you in a week or so. Where that will be visible, where you can see that, will also be included.
Yeah, and how it will be tracked and so
Yep.
on. So yeah, we need to give you some follow-up data on that.
Okay. What are the partner benefits to having an elite partner status?
Well, when you're an elite partner, and I would suggest that, well, first of all of this information is in our partner program guide, and I'll be happy, James, I'll be happy to send the latest copy of that to you after this meeting, and you could see the detail there. Typically, our elite partners, number one, they're typically partners that do more business. So being an elite partner, obviously are the partners that we look to first when we're passing, opportunities that aren't already tied to the partner. That's one of the biggest advantages of being an elite partner. Another advantage of being an elite partner is once you are up in the higher tiers of our margin chart, you get some added benefits in terms of getting margin on things such as maintenance and so on the Insight products, higher margins on Scribe Online. So what I'll do is, instead of going through each particular item, the big one is our elite partners are the ones that are the closest to us. We're more than eager to forward business to those partners first. But I'll send that program guide out to you.
Great. So as an MVP, will I have access to Scribe's teams during times other than the summit? For example, questions about the product workings, its inner workings, and some of the complexities around support issues.
So I'll answer that. I'll give the sales answer, and then maybe Todd, might want to join in. My answer to that is one of the big advantages of the program, especially if you attend the in-person events, is you get to meet guys like Todd Bailey and Eddie Cole, who heads up our development group, and Sean McGowan, our CEO. And I know any of these guys, and I'm going to speak for them, then Todd, you can disagree if you want, are happy to hear from you at any time.
Yeah, day or night.
I know there are MVPs now that Todd communicates with quite a bit as well. So Todd, do you agree or disagree with that?
I 100% agree, and really where I get the benefit is hearing the stories from you guys. You guys are in the trenches and you're dealing with this day in, day out. And getting the idea of like put a button here and do this, you know, we could certainly do that, but understanding what you're trying to do and how you're trying to accomplish your job really helps us and shapes the product. So it's essential for me to actually be a face-to-face, and Lou knows me. I love to be on calls with customers, you know, and feel free to reach out. You know, we don't have to wait for the summit, but it's the best time for us to have a quick conversation and kind of frank face-to-face.
Great. Todd, thank you. It looks like our last question is, can we get direct access to support higher than level 1 or even level 2 as an MVP? It's something that we've talked about internally. Obviously, if you're an MVP, you could probably do level 1, level 2 for us. So it is something we're talking about. It will probably be an enhancement as part of the program, but just note that we are talking about it internally, and it would not be a surprise if that's something that we'll have in place. So it's a good question, and we certainly acknowledge that that would be a good benefit for the MVP group.
Yeah. I would say, you know, with the tight relationship that you get with being a part of the MVP group with product, you kind of have a beeline. So just, you know, unstated there that you kind of get a lot of access as being a part of the group already.
Yeah, and if you haven't taken advantage of that, please do.
Yeah.
Todd's number is 555-1212.
That's right. Day, night, holidays, you know where to find him. So that is the last of the questions, but it doesn't mean that, and to Todd's point and to Lou's point, you know, certainly reach out to us. My email address is here at the end, but you don't have to memorize it. I will be sending out email. There'll be things, part of our announcements, as I mentioned earlier. We're going to be sending you a survey and some other invitations for community group and so forth. So certainly if questions come up after this call or between now and our next communications and our next summit, and the summit rather, just send an email and we will get that information back to you as soon as we can. So again, you know, I'll speak for everyone in the room here, Lou and Todd. We really do appreciate your time. We know that probably most of you had to basically, you know, do some work while you were on this call, some multitasking. So we really do appreciate that. We value this program, which is why we're revamping it, and we're taking 2017 to really remodel it and make it as beneficial to the MVPs as possible. So with that said, again, thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Thanks, everybody.